Welcome back everyone, Mudford here. Getting ready to install a storm door on the front door of my house. It's something I should have done a long time ago. You can see what the cat and the kids have done here. Especially in the winter, the cat wants in. He scratches the seal out, makes the door look terrible, and lets cold air in around it. So one of the best things we thought we could do is put a storm door on. It'll help protect the door, and it will also help hold the heat in a little better around the door, especially with the seal. The seal remains intact. And in the spring and the fall, if my wife wants to leave the door open, she can leave the main door open and have the storm door. It'll have a retractable screen on it and get a nice breeze in the house. Well, anyway, let's get started. This is a Larson door. We picked it up from Lowe's. It's called a Savannah. It was around $220. Kind of middle of the road. There's a lot more expensive ones and there's a lot cheaper ones. And I'll show you one of the features on it. It really sold me on it. I really like this style screen. Comes down like that, and then when you want to shut it, your screen is up in the top part, protected, so you don't have to worry about any animals or kids destroying it. So that's one thing we liked about this one. Liked was the hardware for this one. Just looked a little bit better, a little sturdier, a little nicer than some of the other ones. This door was roughly $220 plus tax. I think it's probably over 100 to get it installed, or we can spend a little bit of time and do it ourselves. So the first thing is this door can be used on either right or left hand side. There's a spot on both sides for where the door latch will go. You just have to drill it whichever side. This side will always be on the inside, no matter what, which way you put it. First thing we're going to do is install the spring on the window handle. Okay, the first thing you're going to want to do once you get that spring installed, started this piece here, started in that bottom groove. And then once you get it, it'll click in. And you're going to go till you get to the notches in the middle. The next step that we're doing is we're putting the hinge side on what's going to be the hinge side of our door. We're putting it right up to the top, right where we want it to go. And there's a thing that looks kind of like a fish almost. And right in the tail of it, made a little mark right there in the middle of the door. I'm going to drill with an 1/8 inch drill bit right there. So there's the hole I drilled. We're going to leave that just like that. Okay, now that we have our new screw put in, go down to the next screw down, take that screw out, and you will not need that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the cover over the hole on this side, because we're not going to have the door latch on this side. There. So that just simply snaps into place. Now we're ready to put our first screw in on the hinge. So now we just need to go through every hinge, drill out the holes with the 1/8 inch drill bit, and then put the screws in, just like so. simple as that. I'm going to go ahead and get all of them on, and then we'll keep going. Now that we have the hinge completely installed, what we're going to do is take the placeholder screw that we drilled earlier out. And then we're going to close the hinge, and we're going to put it through and use this to hold the door shut. Okay, you don't need to over torque it or anything, just hold it like that. And that's holding the hinge shut, because we're getting ready to put the door. Okay, now we're going to take the frame extender for the bottom of the door. There's one with an L on it. We're going to take that and get it started in the groove there. We'll slide it up for now. We're getting ready to get this door hung. I drilled another hole where the other fish-shaped hole was in the bottom of the door. Pre-drilled it with an 1/8 inch and then put another screw in, and this is holding the hinge from opening on the door. So now the door hinge is completely on and it's held shut. So the next thing we have to do is get it up in place, and then I'm going to drill out the holes that hold the hinge piece onto the door frame, and then we're going to put the screws in for those. There's 5 screws that are going to hold that whole assembly on. So we're going to do that next, and you might need an assistant to help you with that. Hopefully I can come up with one here pretty quick. Okay, we got the door hinge mounted now, and you have the door screwed shut basically with those 2 screws. We didn't get any footage of it. It's probably a good thing because there was a lot of yelling involved. But between my wife and my son and I, we did get the door up in place where we wanted it. I was able to drill 5 pilot holes, and then we took the door back out, took the 2 screws out that were holding it shut, and then we put it in place, and now it appears to be pretty level. Looks pretty good, pretty even. What you're going to want to install is the drip rail. I'm going to go ahead and get that in place here. And I'm going to drill my hole. Okay, now I'm putting the drip edge. I got the one end in, screwed down. I'm trying to figure out how I want this. This looks pretty good right here, so I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill my other 2 holes and then get those screws in also. Okay, we got the drip rail on. Now we're ready to put the striker side trim on. Make sure you put your right hand side extender on before you get it in before you get this panel in place. Down here doing the bottom screw now. Make sure before you do that you push the adjustable spacer here all the way down as far as it'll go, because you're not going to be able to do that once you get the screw in. And then there are pieces of weather strip to put on the extended part. We'll get those trimmed in on next. I just trimmed this piece to fit. Probably not a big deal. I mean, we didn't have it up very much of it showing. If I can just get it started. There. Now we're going to put the slide weather strip across the bottom of the door. Okay, I'm just going to slip the weather strip into this little channel right here. This weather strip fits in there really tight, so what I've been doing is spraying soapy water on it with the spray bottle here. And then grabbing a hold of the other end with a pair of pliers and pulling it, and then using my other hand to feed more of it in. Okay, I've got the weather strip all the way in. It helps if you have a second person to hold the weather strip up while you're pulling on the other end. Now I'm just going to go ahead and trim the extra off. The bottom panel on the door is adjustable. You can slide it down until the rubber seal hits your sill plate. I slid it down just maybe a quarter inch, or between a quarter inch and a half an inch, and then you just need to put a screw in it on each side on the inside to hold it in place where you want it. That's it. It's getting close to dark now, so I need to get moving on this. For installing the door latch, they give you a nice template. We're going to put the tab of it so we install the tab in there, and it holds this right in place for us. We're going to drill 3 1/8" pilot holes, then 2 3/8 holes, and a 9/16 hole. Okay, of course I couldn't find a good 9/16 bit, so we're just going to hog out a 1/2" bit a little bit. Hopefully that'll work. Okay, I just slid this latch in with the bevel facing in. Now I'm going to take the outside handle. You can tell that because this doesn't have the locking mechanism. So this one is the outside handle. Put this in it. That piece keeps this the way we want it, and it springs the handle back, and it actually opens the latch. So we're going to feed that through, and then we need to get this inside one lined up where we want it. Put that on, and then we need to get a couple of the screws into it to hold it. There's unlocked. There's locked. We're going to go ahead and get a couple screws in right here to get some holes started. get the last screw in. And it latches perfect. Okay, I'm just hooking the striker plate on now. We're going to drill the other hole out, and this just makes it stronger and out flush where the striker's gonna, where that's gonna latch at. Okay, we'll double check it now, make sure it still latches good, and it'll just be a lot more secure when it latches. So the last thing we have to do now is put the closure on. So we're going to put this part in the door jamb, like right here, approximately 3 inches below the glass. So I just lined this up with the door shut where I wanted it and got it level, and I put those 2 screws in right there, and the one you can't see, drilled a little pilot hole, screwed them in, and then put this in. So then I put the pin back in. We'll let it shut now. We might need to adjust how quick it closes because I don't like it, it's quite slow. Okay, I got the little screw covers on the trim panel on, so you can't even tell where the screws are, so that looks a little nicer. And now I have the closure adjusted. It shuts a little hard when the screen is open or the door is open, but if you have the screen shut and the door shut with the air in there, with nowhere for the air to go, it won't even latch. So I think that's about where I want it. It's about as good as if you're just getting into learning how to do projects yourself. This is a real good one to start with. Fairly simple, straightforward. You should be able to have it done in just a couple hours. So go ahead and give it a try.